You care for your dog every single day. You feed him, walk him, scratch behind his ears, and think that's enough to show your love. But what if I told you the things he treasures most aren't those at all? They're not hidden in the food bowl or in the length of the walk. They're smaller, quieter, and almost invisible gestures so simple that most owners overlook them. In fact, only a tiny 2% ever do. Yet these small choices speak straight to your dog's heart. And when you start practicing them, everything shifts. The way he leans against you, the way his eyes soften, the way he chooses to stay close, not out of habit, but out of pure devotion. In this video, I'll reveal 10 things your dog truly loves, but hardly anyone notices. The best part, you can begin today, right now. No training, no equipment, just a new way of seeing him and letting him see you. Ready to join that rare percent of owners whose dogs don't just obey, but adore? Here's where it starts, a small choice almost no one gets right. Number 10. Consent in socialization and grooming. You've probably seen it 100 times at the park, owners proudly leading their dogs up to every stranger, every new pup, as if friendliness must be forced. But what if I told you to your dog? That moment feels less like friendship and more like being shoved into a room full of strangers with no way out. Dogs, just like us, crave consent. They want to choose when, how, and with whom they connect. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that dogs introduced gradually, allowed to observe first, and approach on their own terms, were far less likely to develop fear-based aggression later in life. In other words, the secret isn't exposure, it's permission. And it doesn't stop at the park. Think about grooming. Imagine sitting in a chair and suddenly, without warning, someone starts cutting your hair. No explanation. No choice. You'd flinch, right? Dogs do the same. But when you place the brush on the floor, wait for them to sniff, then gently begin only when they're calm, you turn grooming into trust, not trauma. Here's the hidden truth. When you respect those signals, your dog doesn't become spoiled. He becomes safe. And a safe dog is a loyal dog. His eyes soften. His tail relaxes. He leans closer, not because you demanded it, but because he knows you'll listen when he whispers, no. Now here's where most owners miss it. Giving consent isn't just kindness, it's power. Because once your dog trusts you in the little things, he'll trust you when it matters most. Storms, strangers, vet visits. And that bond is what only a rare few ever achieve. Up next, we'll shift from choice to freedom. The kind of freedom hidden in something as ordinary as a walk, yet powerful enough to reset your dog's entire nervous system. Number 9. The Sniff Walk. You clip on the leash, step outside, and start walking fast. Because in your mind, a good walk means exercise distance and time. But pause for a second. Have you noticed how often your dog stops nose pressed to the ground, body frozen in concentration? And have you noticed how quickly most owners yank the leash, whisper "come on" and rush ahead, as if that pause meant nothing? Here's the secret. Almost nobody knows that pause is everything. For your dog, every scent on the sidewalk is a headline. Who passed by? What they ate? Whether they were sick, scared, or playful. Sniffing isn't a distraction. It's their version of reading the news, catching up on the stories of their world. And science backs this up. A 2020 study in applied animal behavior science showed that dogs allowed to sniff freely had lower cortisol levels and were calmer overall compared to dogs forced into rigid, fast-paced walks. Think about that. A few minutes of free sniffing can soothe their brain as much as 20 minutes of jogging. This changes everything. Because if you're older or your dog is aging, you don't need long, exhausting walks. You need slow, curious ones. Loosen the leash. Let him guide the pace. Allow those pauses. Watch his shoulders relax, his breathing deepen, his tail sway in soft circles instead of sharp wags. That's not wasted time. That's therapy. Here's the kicker part of being in the rare 2% of owners isn't doing more. It's allowing more. And when you do, you'll see the bond shift in ways you never imagined. But the story doesn't end at the sniff. Because freedom isn't only about where he pauses, it's also about where he chooses to go. And up next, we'll uncover why letting your dog decide the route can transform stress into confidence. Number 8. Choice of route. You reach a corner, your dog looks left, then, right then, plants his paws firmly in one direction. And what do most owners do? Tighten the leash, pull him the opposite way, and mutter, "We don't have time for detours." But what if that moment his choice wasn't random at all? For your dog, picking a path isn't about stubbornness, it's about autonomy. A 2021 study from the University of Bristol revealed that dogs given the freedom to make small daily decisions like choosing which street to take showed lower stress levels and were better at adapting to sudden changes in their household. In plain words, choice builds resilience. Think about yourself. Don't you prefer certain streets for the trees, the light, or the quiet? Your dog feels the same, except his reasons are hidden in scent, trails, and memories you'll never see. That corner he pulls toward might hold the smell of a friend or a shady spot where he once felt safe. Denying him that choice is like denying him his own story. And here's where it gets powerful, when you allow him even 1 or 2 choices on a walk. You're not spoiling him, you're telling him his voice matters. And the moment someone respects your choices, don't you look back at them with trust. Dogs do too. This is the hidden key most owners miss. Giving your dog choice doesn't make him less obedient. It makes him more connected. He'll glance back at you not out of fear, but because he knows you're the partner who listens. But freedom isn't only about where the paws lead. It's also about what those paws do when they finally stop moving. And up next, we'll uncover why chewing something you thought was just a pastime might be your dog's secret form of therapy. Number 7. Chewing therapy. You've seen it 1,000 times. Your dog grabs a bone, a stick, or that rubber toy and starts gnawing like nothing else in the world matters. And most owners smile, thinking, "Good, that'll keep him busy." But what if chewing isn't just a distraction? What if it's medicine? Dogs chew not only because they're bored, but because chewing calms their nervous system. According to a 2017 study in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior, natural chewing releases endorphins, the brain's own feel-good chemicals, helping dogs ease anxiety and settle down after stress. That means the act you thought was mindless is actually a built-in therapy session. And it gets even deeper. Chewing stimulates saliva, reduces plaque, and improves gum health, according to the American Veterinary Dental Society. In other words, every crunch is cleaning not just the mind, but the mouth. But here's where most people get it wrong. They hand their dogs plastic bones or rawhides that do more harm than good. The real secret is variety and nature. Cow hooves, dehydrated salmon skin, yak cheese, or antlers. Each offers a new texture, a new challenge, and a new reward. 10 to 15 minutes twice a week is enough to soothe without wearing down teeth. Watch closely next time. The deep exhale, the slowing tail, the way he flops down mid-chew. That's not boredom leaving, it's stress melting. And when you allow those moments, you're giving him a safe outlet that turns chaos into calm. But here's the part you might not expect. Relaxation doesn't only come through the jaw. It can flow from something even gentler, something as simple as your fingertips. Up next, we'll explore why massaging your dog's ears and neck can unlock a level of trust deeper than any command ever could. Number 6. Gentle ear and neck massage. You reach behind your dog's ears almost without thinking, given a quick scratch before pulling your hand away. It feels routine, ordinary, nothing special. But what if I told you in those exact spots just behind the ears, along the neck, you hold one of the most powerful keys to your dog's emotional state? These areas are packed with nerve endings tied directly to the vagus nerve, the same pathway that controls heart rate and relaxation. A 2018 review in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior showed that gentle massage in these zones can lower stress, regulate breathing, and even reduce signs of anxiety. In other words, with just your fingertips, you can flip your dog's nervous system from fight or flight to rest and trust. The signs are subtle but unmistakable. A long sigh, droopy eyelids, the tail shifting into slow, steady movements instead of quick flicks. It's not just affection, it's his body releasing tension, his way of saying, "I feel safe with you." And here's where most owners miss the magic. They rush. They rub hard. They treat it like a task. But the secret isn't pressure. It's presence. Sit quietly. Place your hand behind the ear. Make slow circles down toward the shoulders. Pause often. Let him lean into you or step away if he needs space. That choice is part of the trust. Because in that quiet moment, you're not grooming. You're not training. You're speaking the language of calm touch, a language older than commands, older than leashes. But here's the twist. Calm doesn't only come from touch. Sometimes it comes from silence itself, from a place in your home, where sound fades and safety begins. Up next, we'll uncover why creating a sound-safe zone might be the greatest gift you can give your dog during life's loudest storms. Number 5. Safe sound zone. The fireworks crackle. The neighbor drills a car, backfires in the street, and while you barely flinch, your dog is already trembling under the bed. His chest heaves, his ears flatten, his eyes dart for safety. You think it's just noise, but what if I told you those sounds hijack his entire nervous system? Noise sensitivity isn't rare. In fact, a 2021 study published in Veterinary Record found that over half of dogs show signs of fear during loud sounds, and those without a designated quiet space were far more likely to develop long-term anxiety. This isn't just a startle, it's trauma building over time. And here's where most owners unknowingly fail. They comfort, they scold, or they ignore. But the real answer isn't words, it's environment. A sound-safe zone is your dog's mental bunker, a retreat where the world quiets down enough for him to breathe again. It doesn't have to be fancy. A walk-in closet, a bathroom with no windows or even a crate tucked into the corner. Line it with thick blankets to muffle the booms, add a memory foam bed to ground his body. And if you can play soft classical music or white noise to mask the chaos outside. The key isn't forcing him in, it's teaching him that space is his choice, his refuge. Because when the storm rages, the dog who has no escape feels helpless. But the dog with a sanctuary learns resilience. He walks in on his own sighs deeply, and trusts that you've given him control over his safety. And here's the twist most people miss. Safety isn't built only in silence. It can also flow through your touch. Gentle, steady healing. Up next, we'll explore why massage done the right way can turn your hands into the calmest medicine your dog will ever know. Number 4. Decompression After Walks. You unclip the leash, swing the door open, and your dog bolts inside panting, pacing eyes darting like he's still on high alert. You think he's just excited and move on with your day? But what if I told you he isn't excited at all? He's still in survival mode. Walking isn't just physical exercise. For your dog, it's a flood of scents, sights, and noises that push his nervous system into overdrive. And when you skip the pause after the walk, you leave him stuck halfway between stress and calm. A 2019 paper in Frontiers in Veterinary Science found that dogs given even 5 minutes of decompression, time after activity, transitioned more smoothly from the sympathetic fight or flight state into the parasympathetic rest and digest mode. That small window, those quiet minutes, decide whether your dog returns home peaceful or restless. Here's what it looks like when you do it right. You stop outside in a neutral space, your yard, a lobby, even the open trunk of your car. No commands, no stimulation, just air to sniff a shake off, maybe a deep breath. You'll see it, the chest rising slower, the gaze softening, the muscles melting back into place. That's not wasted time. That's recovery. And here's the kicker: dogs who decompress are less likely to bark, chew, or pace after walks. You're not only protecting your furniture, you're protecting his nervous system. Because just like you wouldn't sprint into a meeting right after a run, your dog can't go from chaos to calm without a bridge. But here's where it gets even more surprising. Sometimes calm doesn't come from stillness at all. Sometimes it comes from play, from novelty, from rediscovering an old joy. Up next, we'll reveal why rotating toys can spark happiness in ways a pile of new ones never could. Number 3. Toy rotation. You glance at the basket in the corner overflowing with toys. Balls, plushies, ropes, squeakers. Yet your dog noses one drops its size and walks away. And you wonder, does he need more? But here's the twist. He doesn't need more. He needs less. Dogs like us crave novelty. A mountain of choices quickly turns stale. But when toys disappear and return later, they transform into treasures. A 2022 study in animal cognition found that dogs exposed to rotating toy sets showed higher engagement, less frustration, and even fewer destructive behaviors compared to dogs who had everything all the time. Scarcity, it turns out, makes joy last longer. Here's how you unlock it. Divide the toys into 3 groups. 2/3 go into a box out of sight. Leave only a small set out for play. Then every week, swap. Watch what happens. The old becomes new. The forgotten plush becomes a rediscovered prize. The dopamine spike is real, and it comes without a single dollar spent. And look closely when it happens. The sniffing, the careful pickup, the little tail wag as he parades around with something he hasn't seen in days. That's not just play, it's memory, surprise, and satisfaction colliding in one moment. Most owners miss this because they think love means abundance. But sometimes love means mystery. And when you give your dog rediscovery, you give him happiness on repeat. But play isn't only about objects. It's about instinct, the deepest one of all. Up next, we'll uncover why scent games inside your own living room can work your dog's brain harder than a run in the park and leave him more fulfilled than any toy ever could. Number 2. Scent games at home. It's raining outside. The leash hangs by the door. Your dog paces back and forth, restless eyes begging for something to do. You toss a ball he chases, once, then drops it with a sigh. He isn't tired. He's unfulfilled. Because running works his body. But what if I told you the real key is working his nose? A dog's world is built on scent. Their noses hold up to 300 million scent receptors compared to our mere 5 million. And when you give them scent work, you give them purpose. A study from the University of Linköping in Sweden showed that just 10 minutes of focused scent searching tires a dog's brain, as much as 30 minutes of active play. Think about that. Half the effort, 3 times the fulfillment. And the best part, you don't need fancy gear. A handful of kibble or small treats is enough. Hide them under a cushion behind a door, inside a cardboard roll. Step back. Give the cue. Find it. Then watch. The pause, the twitch of the nose, the focused silence. You're not just entertaining him, you're letting him feel competent. And competence builds confidence. The change is remarkable. When he succeeds, his tail sways like a victory flag. His eyes soften. His body relaxes his energy centers instead of spirals. It's not chaos, it's mastery. And mastery is the kind of joy no squeaky toy can ever replicate. But here's the twist. Most owners miss connection doesn't always come from what your dog smells. Sometimes it comes from what he sees, quiet moments, when his gaze meets yours and something deeper passes between you. Up next, we'll reveal why soft eye contact might be the single most powerful love language your dog has, and why so few owners ever use it. Number 1. Soft eye contact. He looks at you from across the room. No barking, no whining, no wagging tail. Just eyes, soft, steady, patient. And most owners glance away, missing the moment entirely. But what if I told you that simple gaze is one of the most powerful ways your dog says I love you? Eye contact isn't just about attention. It's about chemistry. In 2015, a groundbreaking study published in Science revealed that when dogs and humans share soft, mutual eye contact, both release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that ties mothers to infants. Think about that. One quiet look can rewire trust deeper than any command or treat ever could. But here's where most people get it wrong. They confuse soft gaze with staring. Staring feels like threat. Soft eye contact feels like safety. The difference is in the details, relaxed brows, neutral ears, calm breathing. When you notice these and respond not with words, not with excitement, but with presence, you're speaking in the purest language your dog understands. Try it. Next time your dog settles nearby, meet his eyes gently. Hold it for a few seconds. Whisper a calm yes. Offer a small treat or nothing at all. Watch as he blinks slowly, exhales, and curls closer. That's not obedience, it's devotion. And here's the kicker. The more you honor those quiet moments, the more often they appear. Soon, instead of barking for attention, he'll seek you with his eyes. And in that silence, you'll find the bond you always hoped for, unspoken but undeniable. Because in the end, love isn't measured in commands given or tricks learned. It's measured in trust built moment by moment, gaze by gaze. And if you've made it here, you now hold all 10 of the secrets. Most owners never discover secrets that can transform your bond forever. You've walked through 10 hidden truths, 10 simple things that cost nothing, need no training, yet change everything. And maybe for the first time you see your dog differently. Not as a pet to manage, not as a follower to command, but as a soul one who longs for choice, safety, comfort, and above all connection. Because it was never just about food or toys or long walks. It was about the pauses you allow, the trust you build, the respect you give. It was about the moments when you slowed down long enough to notice the soft gaze, the sigh after a massage, the joy of rediscovering an old toy. Most owners will never step into this world. They'll keep rushing walks, ignoring signals, piling toys into baskets. But you now hold the key to the 2% who know the difference. The ones whose dogs don't just obey, but adore. The ones whose bond grows quieter, deeper, stronger with every small choice. And maybe, just maybe, your dog has been waiting for this moment all along. Waiting for you to see that what he loves most isn't in the bowl, the leash, or the trick. It's in the way you listen, the way you let him be, the way you love him back. If this opened your eyes, stay with us. Hit subscribe, because there's so much more to uncover. In the next video, we'll reveal the hidden mistakes owners make at mealtime, mistakes that silently harm dogs every day. Don't miss it. Because the more you understand, the more your dog can finally relax, trust, and love you beyond measure.